Don't be dramatic. It's just innocent flirting, the cheating wife declared, as she handed her number to inspect your vehicle, my friend. The security camera footage revealed my wife engaged in an intimate encounter with another man in our bed at 2:47 p.m. It was a Tuesday, a day when I was meant to be busy installing kitchen cabinets in a different part of town. My name is Michael Harris, and at 42 years of age, I operate a custom furniture business right from my garage. It may lack glamour, yet it provides for my family, ensuring that my wife, Lauren, and our 16-year-old daughter, Sophie, have food on the table. Or at least it did until I witnessed the disintegration of my marriage unfold in vivid detail on my laptop screen. "Dad, you look like you've seen a ghost," Sophie remarked as she entered my workshop, finding me motionless, my gaze fixed on the incriminating evidence before me. "It's merely matters of work, my dear. There is no cause for concern." I snapped the laptop shut, my hands trembling with urgency. "Isn't it time for you to be at soccer practice? The coach has called off the session. Mother has yet to return, and hunger gnaws at me. Would you be so kind as to prepare a sandwich for me?" I nodded absent-mindedly, trailing behind her as we entered the house. The very house where Lauren had been hosting her lover merely 3 hours prior. The very bed that had cradled our shared dreams for 15 years. Where Sophie had sought refuge during tempestuous storms as a child. Where I had comforted Lauren through the shadows of her father's cancer ordeal 2 years prior. The kitchen exuded a new essence now. All sensations seemed transformed. "Earth to Dad," Sophie said, her hand waving in front of my face. "Your behavior is quite peculiar." "Apologies, my dear." Contemplating a project. I swung open the refrigerator door, a wave of gratitude washing over me for the simple act of engaging in something so ordinary as turkey and Swiss acceptable. Flawless. "Oh, and Mom sent a message. She's staying late at the office again tonight for some significant HR matter. Burning the midnight oil." Indeed. 3 weeks ago, I took the precaution of installing security cameras after our neighbor, Mrs. Feldman, reported observing some unusual activity around our house during the day. I had considered the possibility that we were facing an issue with break-ins. It appears that the sole thing being shattered was the sanctity of my marriage. With meticulous care, I crafted Sophie's sandwich, my thoughts swirling in a whirlwind. The individual featured in the video was Jason Reynolds, a colleague of Lauren's from the regional office. I had encountered him at company gatherings, a tall and athletic figure, the sort of man who donned pricey cologne and boasted about his CrossFit achievements. The sort of fellow who cracked jokes at the expense of blue-collar folks like myself. "Father, you seem to be applying an excessive amount of mustard to that sandwich." I cast my gaze downward. She was indeed correct. I found myself gripping the bottle tightly, my mind adrift in a sea of vengeful musings. Once Sophie had completed her meal and ascended the stairs to tackle her homework, I found myself in my workshop, deep in thought and planning. I possess a knack for craftsmanship, excelling in the art of construction and the disassembly of objects. This evening, I planned to dismantle my wife's flawless little universe, one fragment at a time. Initially, I reached out to my closest companion, Eddie, the proprietor of Murphy's Tavern located in the heart of downtown. "Hey Michael, what's happening, my friend?" "Eddie, I find myself in need of a small favor from you. A substantial one. Designated. Would you mind stepping in for me if anyone inquires?" I spent the evening at the bar, from 6 until closing time. A moment of silence lingered in the air. "Michael, what sort of mischief are you finding yourself in?" "The kind of situation where I discover my wife's betrayal and must concoct an alibi for the actions I am about to take next." "Are you absolutely certain about this?" "I captured it on video, Eddie. Crystal clear visuals, immersive audio, the entire experience." "That's sorceress?" "Absolutely. I'm here for you. However, Michael, please refrain from making any reckless decisions. Rest assured, I have no intention of causing harm to anyone. However, I will ensure that everyone understands the true nature of Lauren." Subsequently, I reached out to Lauren's parents. Evelyn and George Brooks resided in the venerable Victorian house on Maple Street, a cherished dwelling that had been passed down through their family for 3 generations. They were respectable individuals, devoted to their faith, the sort who held steadfast to the sanctity of marriage vows and the dignity of family honor. Greetings, George. It is Michael. I must discuss something significant with you and Evelyn. May I visit this evening? Certainly, my dear boy. Is everything okay? Your tone suggests that you might be feeling upset. I'll clarify once I arrive. George, it may be wise to invite Evelyn to take a seat for this discussion. At 7:30, I rapped gently on the Hartwells' front door, laptop bag slung over my shoulder. Evelyn replied, her silver hair impeccably arranged even at this late hour. Michael, my dear, please step inside. George occupies the living room. Would you care for a cup of coffee? No, thank you, Evelyn. However, it might be wise for you to take a seat. We convened in their elegant living room, adorned with rich dark wood and framed family portraits. I placed my laptop on the coffee table that lay between us. 3 weeks ago, I embarked on the installation of security cameras in our home. I suspected that perhaps we had experienced a break-in. Instead, I stumbled upon something wholly unexpected. I lifted the laptop and angled it in their direction. The recording took place today at 2:47 p.m. I pressed the play button. Evelyn inhaled sharply, her hand flying to her mouth in disbelief. George's complexion shifted from pale to crimson, then deepened to a shade of purple. Turn it off, Evelyn whispered. Kindly switch it off. I shut the laptop with a decisive click. There exists an abundance, countless hours of it, spanning various days and diverse positions. George rose suddenly, his hands balled into tight fists. That is our daughter, the one we nurtured to become a respectable woman, a devoted wife. I regret that you had to witness that, I remarked. Yet, I felt it was essential for you to grasp the truth before I embark on the next step of my journey. What schemes are you concocting, Michael? Evelyn inquired, her cheeks glistening with tears. I will ensure that her actions are brought to light, shared with her friends, her colleagues, and the entire congregation. I will dismantle her reputation just as she dismantled our marriage. George inclined his head with a deliberate slowness. She has crafted her own fate, and now she must embrace it. It seems that I have included Jason Reynolds. With the dawn of a new day, I set my intentions into action. Initially, I reached out to my assistant Brian to inform him that I would be taking a few days off due to a family emergency. Next, I reached out to Lauren at her workplace. Hey, darling, I said, striving to keep my voice steady. A last-minute opportunity arose for me in Chicago. A lavish, bespoke dining room set designed for a tech executive of considerable means. I shall be away until Friday. Her words danced in the air, and I could sense the thrill she was attempting to conceal. That's wonderful, Michael. The additional funds will certainly be appreciated. Indeed, I shall be departing this afternoon. Give Sophie a kiss for me when she returns home from school. Certainly, prioritize your safety on the road. I ended the call and promptly dialed Mrs. Feldman, our 70-year-old neighbor, renowned for her keen awareness of the neighborhood's happenings and her unabashed willingness to divulge them. Good day, Mrs. Feldman. This is Michael Harris, your neighbor from next door. Greetings, my dear. How do you fare today? I appreciate your concern. I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I'll be out of town for a few days on business. Would you mind keeping an eye on the house while I'm away? Perhaps keep an eye out for any peculiar occurrences. Certainly, my dear. I'm constantly keeping an eye on the neighborhood. Flawless. Mrs. Feldman possessed surveillance skills that surpassed even those of the FBI. I lingered at Eddie's bar for the remainder of the day, cradling a beer and biding my time. At 4 o'clock, my phone vibrated, signaling a message from Lauren. This evening, Jason will be joining us for dinner to delve into the details of the Henderson project. When you arrive in Chicago, there's no need to stay up for me. The Henderson project, indeed, as the clock struck 6 p.m., I found a spot to park 3 blocks from my home and made my way back, traversing the woods that lay behind our property. The old oak tree in our backyard offered an impeccable vantage point of our bedroom window. The very tree that cradled Sophie's tire swing, the one where we etched our initials 2 decades past. In a time when we were youthful, foolish, and utterly in love. 7:15, Jason's gleaming silver BMW glided into my driveway. I observed him approach my front door, a bottle of wine in one hand and a bouquet of flowers, my flowers for my wife, in the other as he entered my home. I retrieved my phone and dialed the house. Lauren picked up on the second ring. Greetings? Hello, darling. I just wanted to inform you that I have arrived in Chicago safely. That is quite favorable. I had just wrapped up some tasks alongside Jason. Is Jason at our house? Indeed, we are reviewing the Henderson files. You're aware of the intricacies involved with that account. Indeed. Make sure you don't overexert yourself. My heart is yours. Affectionately, I feel the same. Farewell. She ended the call abruptly. I watched from the living room window as Jason's hand rested gently on her back, guiding her toward the stairs. After a tense half-hour, I finally decided to act. Clearly, I still possessed my house key. I slipped through the front door with the utmost caution, the unsettling noises from above twisting my stomach into knots. I crept quietly to the hall closet and retrieved my trusty baseball bat, the Louisville Slugger from my high school days, the very one Lauren often grumbled about my insistence on holding onto. Subsequently, I reached out to Lauren's parents. Greetings, George. This is Michael. Please come to the house immediately, both you and Evelyn. What seems to be the matter? She stands beside him in this very moment. We shall arrive shortly. I lingered on the front porch. The Hartwells made their entrance 10 minutes later, George's expression somber, while Evelyn held her purse tightly, as if it were a lifeline. Do you truly believe this, Michael? Evelyn murmured softly. Hear me out, I urged. We lingered in the crisp evening air, the sounds drifting from our bedroom window unmistakably clear. Oh dear God, Evelyn whispered. I turned the key and opened the front door. Please go ahead. We ascended the stairs as one, three souls bound by a shared fervor of indignation. The bedroom door stood closed, yet it remained unlocked. With a deliberate motion, I grasped the handle and eased it open. Engrossed in one another, they remained blissfully unaware of our presence at first. Jason donned my bathrobe, the cherished one, the very robe Lauren gifted me 3 Jasantmases ago. Lauren adorned herself solely with the pearl necklace bequeathed to her by her grandmother. Ah well, I exclaimed with a raised voice, the Henderson project is undeniably more immersive than I had anticipated. Lauren let out a piercing scream as she reached for the sheet, her fingers trembling with urgency. In a sudden burst of energy, Jason leaped to his feet, only to stumble over his own feet and collide with my dresser, causing my watch collection to spill across the floor in a chaotic A.R. Bryan. Michael, Lauren breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. What are you doing here? You're meant to be in Chicago. What a delightful surprise, I remarked. I have invited a few guests to join us. At that moment, her gaze fell upon her parents, who stood just behind me. Evelyn gazed at her daughter, her expression a tumultuous blend of horror and revulsion. George's gaze was fixed on Jason, seething with unbridled fury. What brings you both here, Mom and Dad? We came to see what kind of woman we raised, George declared, his voice trembling with rage. It seems we have not succeeded. Jason was in a flurry, struggling to pull on his pants, awkwardly bejorging on one foot in a comical display. Mr. Hartwell, Mrs. Hartwell, I assure you, this is not as it appears. It appears that you are engaging in an intimate encounter with my daughter in her husband's bed. All while donning his bathrobe, George remarked. What should it truly resemble? I can explain, Lauren said, clutching the sheet to her chest. Please do, I said, leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed in a posture of quiet defiance. I'm intrigued to learn how this entire situation is merely a grand misinterpretation. She parted her lips, only to seal them once more. What was she about to reveal? That she stumbled and fell upon Jason's Johnson? You disgust me, Evelyn said softly. Both of you, here in this house, in this bed where my granddaughter was brought into existence. That resonated deeply. Lauren began to weep, yet her tears bore no trace of regret. Her tears were those of a person ensnared in their own misfortune, steeped in self-pity. Everyone just needs to calm down, Jason remarked, finally managing to pull on his pants. We can resolve this matter maturely. Adults, I found myself laughing. Adults do not engage in secretive behavior behind their partner's back. Adults do not bet Brian their coworker by engaging in an affair with his wife in the sanctity of his own bed. Adults don't fabricate stories about working late when they're actually engaged with my wife. Lauren implored, Michael, can we discuss this in private? No, I asserted. It is privacy that has led us into this predicament. Henceforth, all shall be laid bare for the world to see. Jason attempted to maneuver around me, eager to reach the door, yet I stood firm, obstructing his way. Where do you believe you're headed, champ? I am departing. This matter lies solely between you and your spouse. Please, you are an essential part of this discussion. Take a seat. This is something I can choose to disregard. I retrieved my baseball bat from its resting place against the wall. I commanded, take a seat. Jason perched on the edge of my bed, the fabric of my robe draped over his hastily donned pants. I couldn't help but notice the irony. I laid out the plan, speaking directly to both of them. To begin with, you will inform Lauren's parents precisely how long this situation has persisted. Michael, Lauren whispered, her voice barely above a breath. How long? George demanded. Lauren cast her gaze downward, reflecting on the passage of 6 months. 6 months, I echoed. Half a year spent in the embrace of late nights, corporate dinners, and the camaraderie of team-building activities. Half a year of deceit unfolding before me each day. It wasn't meant to be, Jason remarked. It simply unfolded on its own. Of course, Evelyn remarked. There's nothing natural about infidelity, young man. Mrs. Hartwell, you fail to grasp the immense pressure we are facing at work. Lauren and I share a professional connection that, well, let's just say it's significant. Kindly refrain from your corporate jargon and empty phrases. You desired to bet Brian my trust by pursuing my wife, and so you did. At the very least, muster the courage to confess it. George advanced with determination. Lauren, direct your gaze upon me. She lifted her gaze to connect with her father's eyes. Your mother and I nurtured you with higher expectations than what you've shown here. We instilled in you the values of commitment, the essence of honor, and the importance of upholding your word. What became of those values? I don't know, she whispered. A sense of entrapment enveloped me. It felt as though my existence had settled into a monotonous rhythm. Jason rekindled a spark within me. Alive, I echoed. Ah, just wait until the entire office catches a glimpse of that security footage. It might just change your sense of vitality. Jason's complexion drained of color. Which security footage are you referring to? A smile graced my lips. The cameras I set up 3 weeks prior have been capturing every moment. Each kiss, each caress, every moment you've spent in my home with my wife. Crystal clear visuals, impeccable sound quality. That's not possible, Lauren remarked. That action is against the law. In truth, it is not. This is my abode. I possess every right to set up security cameras. I possess the full authority to share that footage with whomever I see fit. Michael, please, she implored, her tears cascading down her cheeks now. Reflect on Sophie. Consider our daughter. Sophie occupies my thoughts. I find myself contemplating how she truly deserves more than a mother who deceives, bet Brian's, and invites unfamiliar men into our sanctuary. I'm not an odd man, Jason insisted. I have attended your barbecues and your Jasantma's gatherings. Indeed, you have attended our gatherings, indulging in my culinary creations, savoring my beverages, all while scheming to win over my wife. That truly exacerbates the situation, doesn't it? Evelyn gazed at her daughter. A look of disdain etched across her features. How could you bet Brian your family your sacred marriage vows? You have no idea what it's like to be married to him, Lauren remarked, pointing in my direction. He is perpetually engaged in his craft, perpetually cloaked in a fine layer of sawdust, seemingly disinterested in venturing out or embracing any thrilling escapades, so you chose to pursue something thrilling instead, I remarked, issue resolved. George shook his head, signaling our departure. Evelyn, hold on a moment, I implored. There's something else to share. I retrieved my phone and navigated to the photo gallery. Jason, you may want to take a look at this. I presented him with a photograph I had captured of his BMW parked in our driveway, featuring a clear view of his license plate that I have meticulously recorded every detail, dates, times, the duration of your visits, and the items you bring along. I possess 3 weeks' worth of evidence that reveals a consistent pattern of infidelity. What is it that you desire? Jason inquired. Your existence, as you have come to know it, has reached its conclusion. Jessica, your girlfriend, is bound to discover the truth. Your colleagues are bound to discover the truth. Your CrossFit friends are about to discover the truth. It will become clear to all that Jason Reynolds possesses a certain charm that draws in married women. You bastard, he said. Am I the one at fault? I am not the individual who has been entangled with another spouse for half a year. Lauren rose, enfolding herself in the sheet. Very well, you seek a divorce? A divorce awaits you. However, I refuse to allow you to ruin my life because of this. What about your life? A chuckle escaped my lips. My dear, you shattered your own existence the moment you invited him into our sanctuary. She remarked that the court would perceive this as harassment. One cannot simply subject us to public humiliation and anticipate that there will be no consequences. Indeed, I am capable of that. All my intentions are entirely within the bounds of the law. Distributing surveillance recordings from my residence, permissible. Revealing the reality of my observations, lawful. Ensuring that all are aware of the true nature of your character, entirely within the bounds of the law. Jason rose to his feet. I am departing now. Of course, I replied, moving aside gracefully. However, Jason, it may be wise to inspect your car prior to your journey home. He shoved past me, his heavy footsteps echoing as he descended the stairs. Moments later, his screams echoed from the driveway. What actions did you take? Lauren inquired. There is nothing unlawful, I asserted. However, you may wish to cast your gaze out the window. She approached the window and inhaled sharply. I had emblazoned the word homewrecker in vivid red across Jason's windshield. That is not permissible. I have taken the first step, and this is merely the outset of what is to come. George wrapped his arm around his wife. Evelyn, we are returning home. Lauren, refrain from reaching out until you have come to terms with how to express your remorse for this embarrassment. Once her parents departed, Lauren fixed her gaze on me, her eyes ablaze with fury. You believe yourself to be quite astute, don't you? Do you truly believe you've achieved a victory in this situation? I believe I have unveiled the truth. All that remains are merely the outcomes. I will prevail in the divorce proceedings. I shall claim half of all that you hold dear, including your cherished workshop. Wishing you the best with that endeavor. Adultery remains a valid reason for pursuing a fault-based divorce in this state. I possess a wealth of evidence, an abundance that is undeniable. She fixed her gaze on me for what felt like an eternity, her mind visibly working, assessing her next course of action. Sophie will surely despise you for this, she finally declared. Sophie will surely despise the individual responsible for tearing our family apart. Just to clarify, that would be you. I pivoted and made my way to the door. Where are you going? She called after me. Out. This remains my abode for the time being, yet I find the odor unbearable. I made my way directly to Murphy's Tavern, where Eddie awaited me with a cold beer in hand and a listening ear ready to lend support. How did it go? He inquired. Surpassing their expectations, her parents witnessed it all. Jason is likely still engaged in the tedious task of removing paint from his windshield. Well done, my friend. That required a lot of courage. Eddie, I find myself in need of yet another favor. What shall it be? I require you to inadvertently reveal to a select few the details of what transpired. You know, just a bit of casual conversation, Eddie said with a grin. By chance, I find myself capable of doing so by chance. Murphy's Tavern was the sort of establishment where the intimate threads of gossip wove through the air, binding the patrons in a tapestry of shared stories and secrets. By the time the clock struck closing, half the neighborhood would be privy to the scandal that Lauren Harrisel was entangled in, carrying on an affair with a polished corporate charmer. 3 beers deep, my phone began to buzz with incoming text messages. The initial correspondence came from Mrs. Feldman. My dear, I noticed that young man departing from your residence in a rather swift manner. Is everything okay? I replied with a message. All is well now, Mrs. Feldman. I appreciate your vigilance in monitoring the situation. Jason was the source of the second. You will face the consequences of your actions regarding my car, I responded. Send me the repair bill. I shall frame it. The third came from Lauren. It's time for a conversation. I chose to overlook that particular instance. The fourth message came from my daughter, Sophie. Dad, Mom is in tears and refuses to share what's troubling her. Where might you be? That one brought me back to reality in an instant. I reached out to Sophie without delay. Greetings, my dear. Father, what is happening? Mother has been confined to your room for the past 2 hours, and the driveway is splattered with red paint. I shall arrive home in approximately 20 minutes. It's time for us to have a conversation. Is all well? No, my dear. All is far from well, yet there is hope for better days ahead. As I made my way home, a sense of foreboding settled in, anticipating the conversation that awaited me. Sophie possessed a keen intellect and a maturity that belied her years, yet she remained, in every sense, my little girl. What is the best way to convey to your 16-year-old daughter that her mother has been unfaithful and dishonest? As I stepped into the living room, I found Sophie patiently awaiting my arrival. Lauren had vanished without a trace. Father, you are instilling a sense of fear within me. What transpired? I settled beside her on the couch. Sophie, I need to share some difficult news with you. Your mom and I are getting a divorce. Her expression twisted in dismay. Brian, tell, what actions have you taken? I assure you, my dear, I did nothing at all. Your mother has been spending time with another man. What do you mean by seeing another man? She has been involved in an affair for 6 months now. Sophie fixed her gaze on me, absorbing the weight of this revelation. Do you truly believe that? Video evidence is at my disposal. Oh my goodness. She buried her face in her palms. Who might it be? A colleague from her workplace. Whoever it may be is of no consequence. It holds significance. I seek to uncover the identity of the one who shattered our family. A deep sigh escaped my lips. He goes by the name Jason Reynolds. He's someone you've encountered at company gatherings. The gentleman with the extravagant vehicle? The individual who incessantly shares details of his exercise regimen? There he is. Sophie remained silent for an extended period. Then she uttered, I despise her. Please refrain from making that statement. She remains your mother. She is deceitful and untrustworthy. How could she bet Brian us like this? I'm not quite sure, darling. Individuals occasionally find themselves making poor decisions. Poor decisions, Father? This is a commendable selection. This is, indeed, malevolent. Just as I was about to reply, Lauren emerged at the top of the stairs. Sophie, may we have a conversation? Sophie responded with unwavering conviction. No, I prefer not to engage in conversation with you. Allow me, dear, to elucidate. What is there to explain? How have you been deceiving us for 6 months? How did you bring your boyfriend into our home? Lauren descended the stairs with deliberate slowness. It's a tangled web. Sophie, you lack an understanding of adult relationships. Sophie retorted, I get cheating. I comprehend the nature of deceit. I comprehend that you shattered our family out of sheer boredom. That seems unjust. Just? Sophie rose to her feet, her voice elevating in intensity. Do you wish to discuss fairness? Is it just that a father must uncover his wife's infidelity through the installation of security cameras? Is it just that I must uncover the truth about my mother being a liar? Sophie, I implore you, not this. I will be spending time with my grandparents, Grandma and Grandpa Hartwell at tea this moment. I find it impossible to meet your gaze. Sophie hurried up the stairs, eager to gather her belongings into a bag. Lauren faced me, her eyes filled with a haunting desperation. Michael, I kindly ask for your assistance in resolving this issue. Could you please make some adjustments to this? Lauren, this cannot be mended. You shattered something beyond the reach of mending. It was an error, a foolish, dreadful error. An oversight is neglecting to grab milk at the store. This was a decision A span of 6 months filled with decisions. I will conclude things with Jason. I am willing to fulfill any request you have. The moment has passed. Far beyond the point of no return, Sophie descended the stairs, her overnight bag in tow. I reached out to Grandma. She's on her way to collect me. Sophie, please don't leave, Lauren implored. Together, we can navigate this as a family. We're no longer a family, Sophie stated with an icy detachment. Did you confirm that? 20 minutes later, Evelyn Brooks made her entrance to gather her granddaughter. She failed to recognize Lauren's existence. Once they departed, the house resonated with a profound emptiness and an unsettling chill. Lauren and I found ourselves in the living room, feeling as though we were mere strangers. What comes next? She inquired. It is time to gather your belongings and seek a new place to rest your head. I will initiate the divorce proceedings tomorrow. Is this my house as well? Not any longer. Today I delved into some research. In a divorce predicated on the fault of adultery, the spouse who remains innocent retains the right to the marital home, particularly when there exists video proof of the infidelity occurring within that very residence. Her complexion drained of color. You cannot expel me. I have no intention of sending you away. I kindly request that you depart of your own accord. Should you decline, I will ensure your departure. You scoundrel. Am I truly the villain in this tale? So, after all that you've done, I'm the one who ends up being the villain? She ascended the stairs to gather her belongings. In her absence, I reached out to my lawyer, Robert Klein, leaving a message that detailed the unfolding situation. As Lauren descended the stairs with her suitcase in tow, I stood patiently by the front door, anticipation hanging in the air. To what destination shall you venture? I inquired. It seems to be Jason's apartment. Well, it seems you both are perfectly matched. She lingered at the threshold. Michael, I sincerely apologize. Indeed, that is not the case. Regret fills the air, a consequence of being discovered. A distinction exists. Once she departed, I filled a glass with a generous measure of whiskey and settled into my workshop, enveloped by the furniture crafted by my own hands. All that once held significance in my life, my marriage, my family, my future, had been shattered by the selfishness of my wife. Yet my journey was far from over. I had only just begun. As dawn broke, I stirred from my slumber, head pounding and a scheme forming in my mind. I reached out to Robert Klein at the crack of dawn. Michael, I received your message. Goodness gracious, what a disaster. Robert, I aim to dismantle them both through legal means. What choices do I have? It appears you have valid reasons for pursuing a fault-based divorce, suggesting that you may secure the house, primary custody of Sophie, and a favorable division of assets if the boyfriend has entered your home without your consent. That may constitute trespassing. How does it fare in the workplace? They are colleagues. If their relationship breaches company policy, that is a matter for them to contend with. Are you aware if their organization has a policy regarding fraternization? I shall uncover the truth. I placed my next call to Lauren's superior, the regional director, Karen Mitchell. I had encountered Karen on multiple occasions during company events. She was a woman of unwavering resolve, commanding her domain with precision and authority. Greetings, Karen. This is Michael Harris, the husband of Lauren. Greetings, Michael. How have you been? I find myself in a more favorable state than this. I'm reaching out to inform you that Lauren and Jason Reynolds have been involved in an affair for the last 6 months. A lengthy silence enveloped the room. That is quite a grave allegation, Michael. Video evidence is at my disposal. Surveillance recordings from my residence reveal their presence together on several occasions throughout work hours. Indeed, I understand. Could you please share that evidence with me? I shall send it to you via email this afternoon. Michael, I must inquire, are you truly certain you wish to embark on this path? Upon receiving that evidence, I will be compelled to take action. Karen, they have been utilizing company time and resources to carry on their affair. Jason has been present at my residence throughout the workday. They have deceived their colleagues regarding the nature of their relationship. Indeed, I am certain that I wish for you to examine the evidence. I comprehend. Please share what you possess. Once the call ended, I dedicated 2 hours to meticulously editing the security footage into a cohesive presentation. I documented timestamps that revealed Jason's car parked in my driveway throughout the workday. A recording captures the intimate exchange between him and Lauren as they delve into work matters from the comfort of their bed, and unambiguous images of both their faces, leaving no room for uncertainty regarding their identities. I forwarded the file to Karen, complete with a comprehensive timeline and a catalog of dates marking when the affair occurred within business hours. Subsequently, I reached out to Mrs. Feldman. Mrs. Feldman, this is Michael Harris speaking. Greetings, my dear. How are you faring these days? I am navigating through it all. Dear Mrs. Feldman, I wish to express my gratitude for your vigilance in watching over the house. Your keen observation led me to uncover my wife's infidelity. Oh my. I had a feeling something was amiss. The silver car appeared with remarkable frequency throughout the day. Indeed, I felt it necessary to inform you, should anyone inquire. Lauren and I are parting ways in divorce. Certainly, my dear. How may I assist you? If anyone inquires about what you witnessed, do not hesitate to share the truth with them. Mrs. Feldman was more reliable than any newspaper when it came to disseminating information. As dusk settled over the neighborhood, whispers of Lauren's affair would ripple through every corner, reaching the ears of all. At approximately noon, my phone began to ring. It was indeed Jason. You son of a witch, he declared, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Good morning to you as well, Jason. Karen Mitchell summoned me to her office. She has viewed your brief video presentation. How did that unfold? Both of us find ourselves in a state of suspension, awaiting the outcome of the investigation. Should they uncover any signs of wrongdoing, termination may be imminent. Oh dear, how unfortunate. Perhaps it would have been wise to consider that before you chose to engage with married women during office hours. Your actions are jeopardizing our professional futures due to a personal issue. Is it a private issue? Jason, you transformed this into a professional issue the moment you chose to use company time for your affair. Your actions became my concern the moment you chose to do them within my home. Lauren is heartbroken. Indeed, she ought to feel utterly shattered. She ought to feel a deep sense of shame, humiliation, and regret for her actions. This was never our intention. The bees you intended for every moment to unfold just as it did. You simply never intended to be discovered. He abruptly ended the call. After the passage of an hour, Lauren made the call. Michael, I implore you to reach out to Karen Mitchell and confess your error. You were the one who erred, not I. It seems that both of us are facing termination. Is that truly what you desire? To think that I might lose my job? Lauren, the fate of your job holds no significance for me. Jason's job is of no concern to me. Your actions have not only shattered our marriage but have also brought humiliation upon our daughter, and that weighs heavily on my heart. I am willing to go to any lengths. I will seek counseling. I shall sever all ties with Jason. The hour has grown too late. The opportunity still lingers. This can be resolved. Unfortunately, that isn't possible. Even if it were possible, I would have no desire to do so. You revealed your true self to me, Lauren. You are no longer the woman I once vowed to cherish. You are not the companion I envisioned for my future. She found herself in tears now. Dear Michael, my love for you knows no bounds. Indeed, you do not. If your love for me was genuine, this act would never have occurred. I ended the call and switched off my phone. That evening, Sophie reached out to me from her grandparents' home. Mother arrived here in tears, pleading with Grandma and Grandpa to speak with you. What was their response? Grandpa reminded her that she had crafted her own circumstances, and now it was time to face the consequences. Grandma barred her from entering the house entirely. How are you faring, my dear? My heart is heavy with anger and sadness. Yet I find a sense of pride in your courage to stand up for yourself. Thank you, my dear. That holds significant value. Father, will you be all right? Indeed, Sophie. I assure you that I will be just fine. We are united in this. On the second day hence, Robert Klein reached out with a progress report. Michael, I have some news for you, both good and bad. Share the unpleasant news with me first. Lauren has engaged the services of a lawyer. She is determined to contest the divorce. What's the silver lining? Her attorney is utterly incompetent. He is attempting to assert that your security cameras were installed in violation of the law and that the footage cannot be considered valid evidence. Is he correct? Far from it. It is entirely within your rights to set up security cameras in the confines of your own residence. The footage is undeniably admissible and it carries significant weight against the accused. How does the work environment stand? It has come to my attention that Lauren and Jason were let go yesterday due to breaches of company policy. A wave of satisfaction washed over me. Is that so? It seems that your video presentation was exceptionally detailed. Their organization enforces a stringent policy prohibiting any form of fraternization among employees. Engaging in personal relationships during work hours may result in immediate termination. Thus, both find themselves without employment. Two individuals, each without a job, entangled in a tumultuous divorce, grappling with the societal repercussions of their choices. Excellent. As the weekend approached, the last element of my retribution fell into place. On Saturday morning, Eddie reached out to me. Michael, it's time for you to head to the bar immediately. What is the reason behind this? What is unfolding? Jason has arrived. He's completely intoxicated and babbling on about you. I arrived within a mere 10 minutes. Jason found himself at the bar, thoroughly intoxicated, proclaiming to anyone within earshot that I was a deranged control freak who had shattered his existence for no reason at all. Nothing, I remarked, approaching him from behind. Are you really dismissing 6 months of Betrayal with such indifference? He pivoted, his bejorgis wavering ever so slightly. Ah, Michael, the one we've all been waiting for. Jason, it seems you've had a bit too much to drink. Return to your abode. My sense of home has vanished. Your actions have left me unable to afford my apartment. Your influence has led me to a place of unemployment. Your influence has led to my girlfriend's departure. Is it because of me? Jason, I wasn't the one who led you to cheat. You chose to lie, not me. I did not compel you to shatter 2 families. That was entirely your doing. You orchestrated our downfall. You were aware of our arrival that evening. I realized this, as you've been visiting for the past 6 months. I realized it, for you both are woefully inept at deception. Silence enveloped the bar. All eyes were fixed on our clash. Do you seek the truth? Jason exclaimed with great volume. Your spouse approached me. She claimed you lacked excitement in the bedroom, in life, and in every significant aspect. That was the moment. I seized Jason by his shirt and thrust him forcefully against the bar. Do you wish to discuss the mundane? Let us delve into the narrative of a 34-year-old man whose glory days were encapsulated in the fleeting moments of high school. Let us delve into the art of captivating the hearts of those already bound in matrimony. For it seems that the single souls may not endure your antics for longer than a fleeting month. Remove your hands from me. Let us delve into the unfortunate reality of your current situation. Unemployed, without a home, and facing the disdain of all who are aware of your past actions. I let him go and took a step back. Your behavior is truly disappointing, Jason. Your actions were despicable when you were covertly involved with my wife, and they remain so today. He aimed a blow in my direction. I deftly ducked and observed him careen by, colliding with a table in a chaotic tumble. Eddie, summon a cab, I instructed. He has completed his time here. As Jason was pulled from the bar, his slurred threats and insults spilling from his lips, I understood that my vengeance had reached its satisfying conclusion. Lauren found herself stripped of her job, her family, her reputation, and any semblance of a future. Jason had experienced a profound loss as well. Their clandestine relationship had exacted a toll far greater than they ever anticipated. As I stepped out of Murphy's Tavern, the cool night air enveloped me, and I felt a buoyancy I hadn't experienced in months. Tomorrow, I shall embark on the journey of reconstructing my existence. This evening, I found myself unshackled at last. The subsequent week, Sophie returned to her home. We ordered pizza and watched movies, just the 2 of us, reminiscent of the times when she was little. Dad, she said, her voice cutting through the silence of the commercial break. Indeed, it brings me joy to see you stand your ground. I'm pleased you didn't allow them to escape unscathed. Same here, little one, Same here. Half a year had passed, and the divorce was officially concluded. I secured the house, gained majority custody of Sophie, and retained most of our assets. Lauren received a modest settlement along with the privilege of weekend visitation rights. She relocated to a different state, carrying with her the remnants of her savings. Jason returned to reside with his parents once more. I retained the surveillance cameras,